straight to that man, bro.
I just had to cool off, right? Just get my mind right, man, you know. But I really gotta get this off my shit, man.
Even though the VIP section was full of energy, KirkFrost and YungJoc weren't acting like their usual lively selves. They were dressed sharp and sitting in their corner booth like kings, watching everything like they were in charge. But something felt off. They weren't laughing, joking, or casually drinking like the other fancy guests. Even though they were holding drinks, they weren't actually sipping them. Instead, they kept looking around the dance floor, alert and focused. Joc leaned in to say something, and Kirk just nodded, eyes sharp and serious. To most people in the club, they looked calm and cool, but their body language said something else. While the rest of the room was dancing, yelling, and snapping selfies, Kirk and Joc weren't there to party. Their booth gave them the perfect view, and they were using it. It seemed like they were waiting for something. Then he showed up. Lil Scrappy walked in like he owned the place, smiling wide and full of energy, just being himself. People rushed to him, giving hugs, taking pictures and cheering. Scrappy lit up the room like he always did. When he entered, everything changed. He had that effect. But while most people focused on the fun, a few sharp eyes noticed something different. In the dark VIP corner across the room, Kirk and Joc kept their eyes locked on Scrappy. To the average partygoer, everything seemed fine. But if you were really paying attention, you could feel the tension building. A dancer near the bar slowed down and looked toward Scrappy's group. 2 security guards moved in quietly. Even the DJ seemed to notice a shift, because every light creates a shadow, and Scrappy was walking right into it. He paused for a moment, as if he could feel something wasn't right. Back in the booth, Kirk leaned in and said something in a low, serious tone. Joc nodded, checked his phone, and then turned to stare at Scrappy. No smiles, no jokes, just a steady, heavy look. Kirk followed Joc's glance, eyes narrowing. They didn't blink. A waitress came by with another round of drinks, but the vibe froze her in place. She set the bottle down carefully, didn't say a word, and walked away with slightly shaky hands. She felt it too. Something was going on. Even though no phones were recording yet, the people near the booth noticed how still Kirk and Joc had become, like predators waiting to strike. Meanwhile, Scrappy kept laughing with his crew, but then one of his guys leaned in and whispered something in his ear. Scrappy stopped, looked over his shoulder, and locked eyes with Kirk and Joc, long enough for everyone to feel the shift. The waiting was over. They weren't just watching anymore. They were ready.
Frustrated, irritated.
Not long after the quiet was broken, Kirk and YungJoc finally stepped down from their VIP spot. They started walking through the crowd, and instantly, the mood shifted. They weren't shouting, but the way they moved, calm and focused, made people pay attention. Conversations near the middle of the dance floor stopped. Scrappy was still having fun, laughing with his crew, but he noticed the movement. He saw them coming. The crowd split to let them through without anyone asking. Scrappy turned to face them, arms slightly out, trying to look neutral. "What's up?" he asked calmly but with a bit of caution. He was curious but also careful. Joc and Kirk didn't smile. No love, no handshakes. They got real close, shoulder to shoulder, way too close for comfort. The tension between them was so strong, it felt like it was battling the loud music. Then things got more serious. Joc leaned in, speaking low but sharp. "We heard you've been talking a little too wild lately, Scrap," he said, locking eyes with him. Scrappy's eyebrows went up. Clearly surprised, Kirk didn't wait for a reply. He acted like he was confused, but he jumped right in. "You know what we're talking about. Smiling in our faces, playing both sides, and then running your mouth when we're not around." Then Kirk pulled out his phone like it was evidence. The screen lit up with receipts. Proof. Now the situation felt heavier. You think this wouldn't get back to us? They gave us everything, Joc added. You were at the studio last week, talking crazy. You think people are really loyal to you? We got it all. Scrappy glanced at the phone and turned back to Kirk. That's not the full story, he said. You're twisting my words. I said what I said, but you're making it something else. His voice was louder now. Kirk didn't budge. No matter the context, you still said it. Now that the proof was out, the energy changed again. Words weren't going to fix it. This was personal now. Scrappy's face turned red. The air felt heavy. He wasn't calm anymore. You're acting like I'm some kind of snake, he snapped. I've been real with both of you more times than I can count. I'm not scared of your receipts. You think none of y'all are. Fake? Half of you are. Then the crowd really started paying attention. Phones came out. People started recording. The DJ noticed and turned the music down a bit. Security moved closer to the dance floor. Scrappy pointed at Kirk's phone. You want to show proof? Then show everything, including what you said about me when I wasn't around. It was a direct hit. Joc was about to react, but Kirk held him back with a firm hand. Scrappy wasn't calming down. People gathered around, watching closely. It was crowded, but not too packed. Everyone knew what was at stake now. Pride, respect, and trust. Under the flashing lights, this wasn't just talk anymore. The tension was so thick, one more move could set everything off. There was a lot going on in the VIP area, but KirkFrost and YungJoc weren't acting like their usual flashy and energetic selves. Something felt off. They were dressed sharp and sitting in their corner booth, watching the crowd like kings. Normally, they'd be joking around or sipping drinks like the other VIPs, but even though they held glasses, they weren't really drinking. Their eyes kept moving, scanning the dance floor. Joc leaned in and spoke quietly. Kirk gave a small nod, still focused. Most people thought they looked calm and cool, but their body language told a different story. The rest of the club was loud and wild, people dancing, yelling, and snapping selfies. But Kirk and Joc weren't there to party. They were using their booth for the perfect view. They looked like they were waiting for something. Then he walked in, Lil Scrappy, completely unaware of what was about to happen. He came in with his usual confidence, smiling big and lighting up the room like only he could. People rushed over to greet him. Cheers, handshakes, hugs. He was in his zone, laughing loud, clinking glasses and taking pictures. When Scrappy was having fun, the crowd fed off his energy. The whole vibe of the club changed the moment he showed up. That's how it always was. Scrappy knew how to take the spotlight. But while most people were focused on the fun, some sharp-eyed folks noticed something else. In the darker corner of the VIP area, Kirk and Joc didn't move. Their eyes stayed locked on Scrappy. To most partygoers, everything seemed normal. But for those paying close attention, the tension in the air was getting heavier. A dancer near the bar suddenly slowed down and turned toward Scrappy's group. Two security guards quietly shifted positions. Every spotlight creates a shadow, and Scrappy was stepping into that spotlight now. Even the DJ paused a little, lowering the beat like he could feel something was changing. Back in the booth, the mood got cold. Kirk leaned in and said something, in a low, rough voice. This time, Joc nodded, checked his phone, and slowly scanned the room again. There were no smiles now, just serious eyes locked on Scrappy. Joc gave a small signal, and Kirk followed his gaze, squinting slightly. Neither of them blinked. The feeling in the air was so strong that the waitress froze for a second when bringing over another bottle. Her hand shook a little as she set it down quietly and walked away. She felt it too. Even though most people were distracted with their phones, the ones paying attention knew something big was coming. People nearby started noticing how still Kirk and Joc were. like predators waiting for the perfect moment. Scrappy kept laughing with his crew, but then one of his guys leaned in and whispered something to him. That's when everything changed. Scrappy stopped and looked over his shoulder, locking eyes with Kirk and Joc. They were ready. The waiting was over. They weren't just watching anymore.
Look at me. Here we go. Look at me. Man, I'm frustrated and irritated, man.